Always.
Good.
Okay, we are
You
live.
sent it to my other WhatsApp, which was super confusing. Cool. How's it, everyone?
Okay,
How's it?
we are
How's
live.
everyone's week gone?
Oh, good. Not too bad.
Everyone's
Very
talking to the computer now, of course.
Mhm.
Cool, guys. So a nice, exciting topic. Something that I've had set up for a while, and I thought it could be useful for people. Basically, it's just a way to set up your own cloud machine. So let me start sharing my screen. There we go. Why is it not sharing? Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, go for it.
Not yet.
Not
I'm
good.
just kidding. I can't.
What the fudge?
Yo, I nearly had to get our production assistant Jason to bleep that out later.
Don't you like fudge? It's super tasty. Yeah, I don't know why it's not sharing the screen.
I'm sure you can describe it in words. It's not that complicated, right?
Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm gonna drop off.
Okay. Thanks everyone for coming out.
I love he does it before he ends the sentence.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Perfect.
Hopefully you all know a lot more about Ansible now. And no, that's great. So has anyone got any cool? Go for it, Marvin. Give us.
No, have any of you used Ansible or anything like that before?
I have not.
Yeah, Jason's made me try use it once or twice. I used it we set up cloud machines on Google, and I used his scripts, and it ended up making me also use his GitHub details. So I was committing under his name for like a month too, until I finally realized.
Is it essentially like a alternative to like shell script, but maybe it's a bit juiced up?
It's like a script to run all your configurations. So when you set up a new EC2 Linux machine or Ubuntu machine that's brand new, you can run an Ansible script, and it can install Docker, this, that. It can put in all your key cuts. It can install ZSH in your shell, put in all your shortcuts. It seems like it just soups up your computer and installs everything you need to. That's, from my understanding, what we use it for.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Jason also recommended it to me, but I was too lazy to do my own research, so I was quite happy to see that he's doing it today. Or hopefully he will.
Hopefully.
Let's see.
Let's see.
So I guess it's super useful if you like spinning up lots of cloud infrastructure, and you always want to have it feel like home, where you don't have to configure your Git details, and it automatically generates a public key for you, and it's installs all your stuff. And that's what I think it's for. But who knows? Marvin, you have some nice plants in the background there. Tell us a bit more about those plants.
I actually don't know what kind they are, but I've heard that it's good to have them around. Yeah. I would have a bit more green.
No,
can't see any plants at your places, so you got some work to do there.
Got a painting there. A red suitcase, which I don't know if I'll ever use to travel again, because when will travel ever be allowed?
I've got an ash over there. I've got some pictures. Oh, it's confusing. Pointing in the wrong direction.
It's hard, eh? It's confusing.
TV, fireplace.
That's nice.
And sunny day outside. Okay, Jason's back.
Perfect.
Guys, you've had me muted and in the background for a while.
Did you enjoy our talk about plants?
Yeah,
let's get going. So we're going to use...
Promise it was not that long. Okay, let's go.
Jason, what on earth is Ansible? Why would I use this?
And
Give
why
me a
is it
moment.
different from regular shell scripting?
It does. You can use shell scripting in it. Cool. So first thing I'm going to show you is Terraform. Like basically, this is all configuration as code, basically. So let's take a quick
I'm going to
look.
make this a bit bigger because I can't see.
Okay. That should be bigger now. Close that. Okay. So I've already written this. It's super simple. Basically, Terraform allows you to configure your cloud infrastructure, and you can configure basically any setting you have in either Google Cloud or AWS or DigitalOcean or Azure or literally all of them. They have Terraform providers, and basically you can connect to them and then use those services and configure them in a very predictable way. For example, Terraform, Google Cloud instance, something like this. You can normally actually just copy here you go. You'll actually see this, like probably if I were to just copy this, it would actually work. But what I'm doing is almost exact same. You have the name, the machine type, the zone. I don't use tags. I do use a boot disk. So like, yeah, if you're stuck, it's very easy to go here. And to be honest, I really find it easier working like this with a config file rather than clicking around the UI. When you're clicking around the UI, it's so easy to make a mistake. It's super confusing because there's like 1,000 options all over the place, and you don't know if you're in the right menu or not. Whereas if it's config, it's like simple, you know. Do you want, what is your network config? And then you go to the settings. So let's go network, sorry, access config. There you go. So you can like actually look here what you need inside here, and it's got all the settings, which is super useful. Anyway, so all I've got here is a very fast machine. We've got spare credit. It's in Europe West 3. It's got this name for testing share server, and I'm opening up ports 40 and 50 TCP. I've already got a fixed IP address, so that's what this is, but you really don't have to use that. It's just for convenience because I've already sort of put that in. And then the last thing that's important here is this output. It allows you to see values. So this isn't that useful now because this is fixed. But if this was dynamic, so if we are using an ephemeral IP, like in this example, where nothing's defined, then you need to know what the IP address is. So that's what these outputs are. So let's run this. So with Terraform, let's do it. Yeah, we probably don't need to refresh. It's good practice to run a plan first, but because it's a demo, I'm not. I'll run apply straight away. And basically what this does is it checks if all your settings are like able to work and if there's any important changes. Also, you know, if you've got very important stuff running, you need to check like you're not by accident deleting some service that's super important. So that's what all of this is for. And typically for sort of very important systems, this would be in your sort of CI pipeline. So they would run Terraform plan, you would see the output, and someone would actually review and check that you're not deleting things that shouldn't be deleted. But anyway, yeah, this is creating a Google Compute instance called testing share, and it looks good to me. So I'll say yes. That actually reminds me, I'm not sure what's configured badly on my machine. But I don't actually see error messages in my terminal here. Okay, so it worked.
I think it's because you're on a.
Yeah. I missed that. Anyway, here's the IP address. As I've mentioned, I've already configured it. So if we go cat, what's it? Not that config. You'll see right at the top. Yeah, I've got the share Friday with the. Oops. Yeah, over here. So that's already configured. So now you can go SSH share Friday, and that'll take me into the machine. Okay, it's because I've already done this before.
Zach,
remove
if I can
it
ask
from
a
Yeah.
quick question. So just to get a kind of overview, we are launching an instance on Google Cloud Services right now, and you're going to demo essentially Ansible on setting up your machine in a very fast, efficient way. That's the kind of
I wouldn't say it's
overview
fast,
flow.
but it's pretty effortless.
Okay, it's
and
automated.
I could set up 1,000 machines to be all identical, which is pretty
by
cool.
using this kind of Ansible code. And this initial Terraform stuff you're doing now, this is just preceding to. You could also just set up an instance with.
Yeah, I could
through
click
the
around
UI.
with UI.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Got you.
This is just more predictable, and if I might make a mistake clicking the wrong option or something on live YouTube.
Cool. No. And then just a table of contents. You've created this instance. Now, what are you going to use Ansible for? Are you going to create a server configured to what kind of environment, or what is the server you're creating for? Development server or a web hosting server, or?
No, it's just a normal server. Sorry, I've got a visitor, I think. Just hold on for a second. Okay. My nephew's here. Sorry, guys. They're just waving and going, apparently. So,
go say cheers, man. Yeah. You're welcome to.
No, I've already wasted enough time here. Okay, so we've got this thing called Ansible. So now Ansible, I mean, it's a really nice tool. I wouldn't say it's the most amazing tool for certain use cases, but for like running shell scripts and stuff in an automated way on remote machines and installing software, it's really, really great. There's this thing called Ansible Galaxy, which is like a massive package manager of like thousands of pre-configured things. So like, I'll show you. I don't know, let's look for NPM. If you want your server to have NPM, all of these people have made these like NPM things that make it supposedly easy to set up NPM, and they should work on all these distributions and whatever. So it's pretty cool if you have certain things you need. So let's actually go through our playbook very quickly. This is very sort of rough. I wouldn't say the structure of this is great, but it's just for me. And yeah, no one else really needs to use it. It's not for production or anything like that. But first I install the updates. So apt install transport HTTPS. I add yarn. I think that's the next three. Yeah, the next two things are installing yarn. Then I add certbot. This is we might have time to use this. Depends how long everything takes. Actually, while I'm talking, I'm just going to run this because it takes long. So you'll notice here if I go which node, which node, there's nothing installed. Which npm, which go, there's nothing. Like this is.
So you've just SSH'd into this brand new server you created now, just so I'm correct, with Terraform.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
So now we're going to set it up. You'll see a lot of things change. I'm going to quickly, before you're disappointed, I don't have any styling on my shell, which, yeah, I should take a look at it. I've got styling on my personal machine's shell, but this dot file that I'm using, the dot files that I'm using don't have styling, so we'll see that. Then the other thing, there's a concept of an inventory. So I'm going to be running on this host. It's the same IP address that I made earlier, and it's called test share user. So as you can see, I've already got this. Make setup dev machine, which runs Ansible playbook. It runs the playbook that I was walking through a little bit earlier. With this inventory on the user, on this config basically. So let's run that. And now what's really nice about Ansible is that it's a sort of no config required setup. So that machine's totally fresh. I don't have to install anything on it. All I need is SSH access to that machine. There are other tools that are similar to Ansible, but often they require that you install something on the machine, which I guess is a little bit inconvenient. So this whole process is quite slow. Ooh, let me actually quickly stop that. I think, okay, let's just speed this up quickly. And maybe for demo, I'll create React app. If we have time, what else can we remove to make it faster? Okay, I don't know. Things might break if I remove anything else. Go. I think some of the CLI tools I have use Go. Okay, so let's just run this. Yeah, so this is unfortunately a little bit slow, but what would be cool is if I had like 100 machines and this was going in parallel. That would be awesome. But
it won't be that slow. I mean, this is a pretty fast machine, and it's in a data center.
We'll see. I think it'll take a good few minutes to install all of these dependencies and set up everything. So I was going through this, and so basically this config, you can make it run SSH, like a bash scripts. You can make it run these pre-configured, they call them playbooks. So these are all playbooks. I don't know, I could look at this, set up and configure npm. So you install this like as from this package manager. This one doesn't seem great because there's no instructions on how to use it. That's not nice. But yeah, in general, you kind of grab that and you can use it. And in general, they're supposed to be idempotent. So if you run this command once or you run this command 1,000 times, it should be the same. So the reason for that is you don't want your playbooks to be destructive. So if your machine's already set up and you rerun the same playbook on that machine, it shouldn't destroy your machine. So that's quite important and to keep in mind if you want to build your own playbooks. So yeah, we are going through this. John, you had a question?
It was an excellent question, but I can't quite recall it right now, so I think we might have to continue. I was going to say, so I once used Ansible, actually. I think I used quite a similar script to yours, in fact. And when I used Ansible, my configuration seemed like it bugged out.
I think I know it's going to do the exact same thing here. It set everything up. I just hadn't committed my theme to that my .files repository. So we'll see now. Like, my terminal is nice. It's got colors and it shows the Git repo we on. All of that I haven't put in my .files repository, so that's why. Yeah, we'll see now when it's finished. So I think that was the problem. But anyway, let's quickly go through this. This sets up Fast Node Manager. Fast Node Manager is super cool. It's what it says it is. It's a fast node manager. So there's no NVM, Node Version Manager, but that software, like if you add it to your shell startup script, it adds like a good second and a half of startup time, which a lot of people didn't like. So that's what Fast Node Manager does. Now here I'm installing all of the snaps that I have defined here. So if I were to add like, I don't know, I can't think of anything, VS Code or something, it would automatically now install VS Code as a snap. Cool. Let's see how far this is going. Okay, so actually there's some things I can talk about here. It basically checks to see if it needs to do anything, and it tells you when something's changed or if there's no change needed. So obviously, I think because of this task, sorry, I don't know why it keeps scrolling. Yeah, should use my arrow keys. That's better. So because I think this task worked, it didn't need to run these. So that's why it's saying it's okay, no changes made. And this one it even skipped, for example. Yeah, there you go. So now it's setting up my .files. For reference, .files. These are my .files. They definitely need some love and care. I haven't put in the effort they deserve, unfortunately. But like I was saying, for example, for some reason I haven't committed my theme. So you'll see it'll just be black and white in the terminal once we go in. How are we doing for time? Okay.
Jason, can I ask you another question?
Yeah. Please.
So I think a good use case for this would be, say, if you buy 30 Raspberry Pis and you're going to use them and you want to set them up, could you run one of these playbooks and set up your 30 Raspberry Pis to have all the packages and required things you need to get going?
Yeah, completely. Yeah, that would be useful. Another thing people do use them for, and people work really hard to do, is to make these playbooks multi-platform. So what could happen if the playbooks are built well? Like this playbook definitely isn't built well. This is just me, like, oh, I need to have yarn, so I just put yarn. Like this might break if I had tried to install this in Arch Linux, or it would because I'm using apt. But what is sometimes useful is people have these kind of configurations that are reasonably portable, so they can quickly set up different machines and even their personal machines. So, I mean, this is setting up our cloud machine. There are people who set this up for their local machine. You can set it to like your local host. So let's say I were to install a brand new, fresh Ubuntu. I could run Ansible on my own computer, which is quite cool.
Very cool.
Sure, this last step is taking its time.
Taking those dot files, eh? I was telling the guys earlier when you broke off that I used your dot files, so I was committing stuff on GitHub under your name for my cloud machine. So obviously, if you guys want to use Jason's playbook, remember to set up your own dot files. Pro tip.
Cool. Yeah, otherwise, there's going to be a lot of Jasons on the way.
Yeah, no wonder he's got such a good GitHub history.
So there were a few notes in here. Yeah, I need to remember this. Okay, maybe that's the only thing that I need to check out. But yeah, what John was talking about is over here. Pretty funny. No, not sure. Okay, well, maybe it's not showing files with a dot in front of them. No, here it is, vimrc. It's got my username hard-coded somewhere. Weird. Now I'm not seeing it. Anyway, somewhere in this file, it's got my username hard-coded, which obviously causes problems. Anyway, here we are. So we logged in. Just so you believe that it worked. Yeah, you can see there's no styling. Sorry about that. But I think, yeah, let's do this. Now I can go to, I'm in Vim mode, delete end. So I've got all of these plugins. I can, I don't know if this is set up. Let's try. No, okay, that's not set up. Super easy to set up. This tool is really nice. If you're curious, it's this tool. So you can like browse directories and stuff. Anyway.
Zach, quick question. Is it possible at all that you can make your terminal slightly bigger?
Yeah, it is. There we go.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
I can do reverse search, which doesn't help because I don't have anything. Anyway, so my terminal's nicely configured exactly how I want it with Vim mode and ZSH and all of that lovely stuff. And also I've got which node, cool, which npm, which Docker compose. Okay, I don't have Docker compose. I thought I had that. Yeah, I just have to, it's really simple. I just need to add this to my Ansible playbook, and then I'll have Docker compose. So what I thought would be quite nice.
Out of interest, could you quickly show us how to add Docker compose from that other website? If there's maybe like a...
Yeah, I wouldn't be confident that it'll work first time.
I mean, we have to run it. I just want to, you know.
The easiest thing you can do, I'm sure I've got some bash here, shell. You can literally go like shell command, install Docker compose, and then instead of running make all, okay, I don't think we need to do it in a specific directory. We can go, I don't know, curl setup docker compose.com. I don't know what the command is. Pipe it to sh, and then I don't know if the internet says this is how you set up Docker compose. This would just execute, which is pretty cool.
And then you could just run the whole script again because it doesn't overwrite things and just fix the stuff that's not already there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's idempotent. Yeah, there are some other nice things. For example, it sets up my SSH key, which is very nice. Yeah, it sets up quite a few things, and you can go crazy with this and make it set up everything. But you kind of will go crazy if you do too much. So yeah, be warned. I thought the last thing that I could do, which is quite simple, and I think we've got just enough time, and it's really quick. I've set up a domain name, so we can actually quickly set up a domain. So what I'm going to do is, well, we don't have to do that even. So remember, I added create React app, demo. So now that we've got this up and running, what's a server if you can't host a website on it? So that's what we're going to try and do very quickly. I'm going to make a new terminal. I've got this config reference that I wrote a while ago. Don't worry, I'm not trying to show everyone your emails, Denim. There we go. So I use Nginx. You can use other things, of course, but I don't know. I found Nginx the easiest. So we just check Nginx is running, and it's running. It's active. Then we go to okay, we don't have to restart it. This is the kind of config file. So we're going to make a copy of this. I think we need sudo for that. cp that file. And now we'll say test. I might as well make it the same name. Here it is. Okay, it's test dot. Okay, cool. Test dot wildcards dot xyz. Okay. Just let me start Vim. I know Vim the first time goes a bit crazy when I start it. Why? Yeah, my Vim config just does this the first time I start. I have no idea why. It's like installing weird packages and stuff. And then there was one other thing. I need to run this. Cool. And I think that should fix all of my Vim weirdnesses. Okay, there you go. Okay, finally, Vim is set up. Okay. So I'll go sudo Vim etc nginx sites available test this one. Okay. Okay, obviously my command to set up. This is like the autocomplete thing in Vim. I don't normally use Vim, so okay, there we go. So now what we're going to do is set up. I think we comment out this. Sorry. Comment a lot of this stuff out. Oops. Okay, well, might as well copy what's needed. Yeah, so it should look basically like this. So let's go here. Okay, so this will be test.wildcards.world. This I need to.
.xyz.
Oh yeah, .xyz. Marvin, this is why we invite you, hey? I don't know if this affects anything, but let's just remove it. Okay, cool. Got the server name. And now, okay, this is the last step. And we want proxy pass HTTP 0.0.0.0.3000. So 3000 is just the default port that Create React app runs on. So, right, let me just go
Don't
through
forget
the rest
the
of the file.
world and XYZ thing.
Oh yeah, I will. Thank you. And I think I need a semicolon at the end of this line. Boop. Semicolon. Sorry. Okay. XYZ. Okay. Okay, my Vim is being really stupid. Okay, I don't know what I did to Vim. Let's just kill it. Cool. So let's do a few more things here. So we need to, yeah, okay, that's fine. We need to link the folder. That's not what I wanted. Let's copy that. Test. And now we want Etsy, Nginx, sites, and then it's enabled. Test.wildcards.xyz. Okay. I think we are good to go. I think, if I remember correctly, all the firewall stuff is already set up. Oh, yeah, and we do need to set this up, but we can do that afterwards. Let's go yarn, no, cd demo yarn start.
I think you need to still install it.
I think Create App does it automatically.
Packages.
And now we go test.wildcards.xyz. And it'll tell me there's no, okay, it'll tell me this.
I think you have to reload the Nginx server.
Probably, yeah. What's the command for that? I think it's sudo. Yeah, I do have to reload it.
I think you can also do restart instead of doing a stop and a start. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely can. Yeah. I'm not sure what the difference between reload and restart is. I think reload just reloads the config and doesn't restart. So probably for production, you don't want to click restart, only reload. Not too sure. Okay, let's take a look.
And then is it on port 3000?
HTTP Yes. Nginx should redirect it for me. Okay, so it's not.
I don't think you did the let's encrypt thing yet. Didn't you say you were going to do that afterwards?
Yeah, it should be loading and saying me, are you sure you want to continue to an unsafe site? I just want to, what is it? Dig, I think. Test.wildcards.xyz. Is that the correct IP address?
Looks like it.
84. Okay, I mean, it should be configured. I've probably just made a mistake. Or maybe when Vim freaked out. Did I run Vim as sudo?
I think you did.
Okay, it's not showing it in my history. Let's see, Nginx. What's it? Sites available. Test. I really hope I don't have to redo this. Come on, Vim. Come on. Oh, no. Oh, what is this junk? Okay. My Vim config is really broken.
Okay. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a bummer, but wait, it is there.
Yeah.
I was going to say, this is maybe not.
It's not debugged on there.
Yeah, you proved. Can you maybe run that thing again where you proved that the domain was linked to the IP address? Just that, I think you did some dig command or something.
Anyway, probably super simple. I feel like I've done this 100 times, but obviously when I'm showing people, it doesn't work. What's it? The dig command. Yeah, so you can see this is the IP address, and it should be configured.
Cool.
Nice, guys.
Perfect.
How are we doing for time?
Thanks, friends.
Yeah, 45 minutes.
Pretty
cool. So if you guys want to get hold of these scripts and try and do this yourself, it's all on GitHub. So let me quickly show that. I showed my dot files. I'm using Presto.
Do you mind adding these links to the YouTube description?
Yeah, sure. And then Ansible. I actually don't know where the GitHub for the Ansible is. I think it's a search.
Yeah, it's definitely cool to have the links. I remember that you told me about Ansible like 1 or 2 weeks ago. We chatted about that, but I was kind of too lazy to do my research, which I said earlier. But now I've got this great intro, so I'm definitely going to play around with it on the weekend. It looks great.
Yeah, it's a very cool tool. Like what I was saying is, it is possible for it to error, which is kind of sad. I mean, I guess it's life, but for example, I would say try and do as much as possible with Terraform, and also like try and use tools like Kubernetes and stuff, because they're much sort of safer, if that makes sense. With Ansible, you can like completely destroy something if you do something wrong. Like you've got all the power of a bash script on like production machines or whatever. So yeah, word of caution. But yeah,
so maybe
it is.
not try it on my own server, my own machine for the first time.
Yeah, I would be careful about that. I'm not sure how it works on Mac or things like that. I'm as far as I know, it's mostly Linux. Geared for Linux stuff. But who knows? Maybe people have made it work on Mac. Yeah, cool, guys. Hope you learned something new.
Thanks, Zach.
I'll also write in the comments when I work out why the server wasn't working. So probably scroll through the YouTube comments and you'll see it.
And just pop the link in there. You can also just add it to the YouTube description. And then last thing to mention is Ben, blank on his surname, is going to run us through some Elixir stuff next week for next week's Shared Friday.
Ben Scholz.
Schultz, yeah, that's cool.
Schultz.
Schultz. Actually, not sure.
Hey, you're the German.
Cool.
How do you pronounce Scholz?
STH. Schultz. Genau, yeah. All right.
Cheers, guys.
Ciao, dude.
Perfect. Enjoy your weekend.
Catch you next week.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.